Patricia Haddad, Director of Government Relations for the Clark County School District. I'm here to share our strong opposition to Assembly Bill 175, which seeks to experiment on the school-age children in Southern Nevada by imposing a non-evidence-based board structure that puts adult issues and power struggles ahead of the needs of kids. As we review this legislation, I implore you to ask, does the legislature not trust voters? Does the first female majority legislature in the country not trust an all-female governing board comprised of a majority of women of color? If this legislation moves forward, as we've heard, the basic democratic principle of one person, one vote will be eroded. Surely the voice of Clark County's rural communities will be eclipsed. There are no limitations, guardrails, or standards for these appointments. Appointed members would have no term limits, and though touted as a way to bring expertise to the board, no language exists in the bill articulating who should qualify and what experience is needed. Senate Bill 65, which we had brought forward, vetted and supported by school board members across the state, did look to double the amount of training required by elected officials. This body did not move that forward. Compare AB 175 with AB 118, which seeks to reduce the size of the Board of Regents and the length of their terms. Is this legislature sending the message that they want more public accountability and participation or less? These bills together send conflicting messages about where this body stands on voter voices and participating in determining their representatives. In closing, determining one's representatives is the foundation of our democratic society and a form of representative government. Yet AB 175 sends a loud and clear message that this legislature, comprised of elected members, believes that the voters of Southern Nevada should not select their school board representatives. Improving student outcomes is an urgent need. There is no time to waste. Thank you.
We just hit the 2-minute mark, and I think we do have a question for you. Senator Neal, please.
Thank you. So I don't disagree with I would say 50% of what you said. I think that the comment about does the female majority legislature not trust a minority-led school board probably was a little bit below the belt. Absolutely it was, because it has nothing to do with that racial composition of that current board, although they're missing some diversity there. I think women to women, it's because we see an issue with children and how children are not the focus of this particular board, although some newly elected members. I had to say something about that because I felt like you were saying that we're judging because we do judge, but we're not judging them based on the fact that they're a diverse, it's a Latino group with one white woman, and that's not the case. And so to put that statement out, and I don't know who wrote it, but that was probably the worst statement that could be made by challenging us and saying that somehow this female-led legislature is throwing dirt on them. We're throwing dirt on that body for their actions, not for their composition, their racial composition, or the fact that they're women. It's because that children are not performing, period. Just the same way as you guys oppose this bill, which we understand why, because of the power structure that's in here. But at the same time, the district is just as guilty for not pushing policy that we feel in this building has helped to save children, right? So be honest about that, right? Be honest about the position that this may not be the best vehicle to fix the problem. It may need a 2-year sunset. It may need some subcommittee. It may need some criteria. But at the same time, you guys have come to this table and also opposed summer school. But that's the inherent problem and issue that we're dealing with, right? Is taking accountability for what you don't do, what there seems to be a refusal to do, which is teach children, and then take accountability for the failure of students not walking across their 3rd grade graduation because they can't read. And so, you know, you might, I just feel like you need to adjust that, because if that one was a tweet, man, there's serious problems with that statement.